You are still listening, hopefully, to Stribling's New York on WOR AM Radio 710 on your digital dial and iHeart Media Company. I'm joined also in the studio by our producer, Tony Simone, who's really put together an incredible show this week and every week. One of the receptionists says he looks exactly like a young John Cassavetes. I think even better looking. And
I'm blushing in the
speaking
studio right now.
of the best of top people, we have Scott Dikkers on the phone from Chicago. Scott has written a book called Trump's America, The Complete Loser's Guide. And yesterday somebody wrote in the Huffington Post, that person happened to be me, that while I find it truly remarkable that Donald Trump is the Republican nominee for President of the United States, I think it's even more amazing that Scott Dikkers is not a household name. Dikkers is the founding editor of The Onion and a brilliant satirist who has written the book Trump's America, The Complete Loser's Guide. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you, Rob, and thank you for those kind words. I should also mention that I look like a young Marlon Brando.
You speak much better than Brando, though. It's much easier to understand. So I read the book. It made literally every page is laugh out loud funny. And what I mentioned in my article, I don't know if it's necessarily a review, but I have some quotes from you in there. It's most of the stuff written about Trump is dripping with animus and vitriol and is mean-spirited. And this, as you and I discussed on the phone last week, is something that even a Trump supporter may like because it's funny.
Yeah, and mostly I think they might like it because they perhaps don't understand the concept of irony.
That too.
But either or, we're happy to have anybody who enjoys jokes at Trump's expense enjoy this book. And I think a lot of those supporters see him more as an entertainer really than a politician. So they're happy to laugh about him. I don't think that diminishes any support they might have deep in their soul for him.
Well, you really, what I said in my HuffPost piece is you just nailed his voice, because I really picture Trump saying the things that you say in the book. Like he's Trump on the environment, hippie crap, the military.
Yeah.
Are these the biggest missiles we have?
Right. Well, on our audiobook, we got the absolute best Trump guy to actually read that stuff. And it's really eerie when you hear it, because it literally does sound like he's doing it.
So what was the process of putting a book like this together? It's so comprehensive. And I mean, I've worked as a comedy writer, produced my own show on ABC many years ago, but it was sketch comedy. And so we'd be working for something that was quick and fast. And if it failed, it was okay because we're on to the next sketch. But
right.
This is so comprehensive, and it really works and flows together perfectly.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a different beast doing a book. You really have to think about, okay, how is this joke? We may have thought it was funny here while we were chatting together, but is it going to stay funny for months and months and months? So it's a different animal. So yeah, I mean, I could get into the kind of the boring details of sort of how you put that all together, but I'll give you the short version. We just literally crawled up Donald Trump's butt, and it was just full of jokes in there. So we just pulled out a lot of those jokes and put them on paper.
Oh, with comedy, I mean, you can just stretch the truth a little bit, and like 15 ways the State of the Union could turn a profit. That's it's
right.
Not something he would necessarily do, but that it's not that outlandish, because he probably would point out we could have a concession stand here or do some product placement. And
sure,
as you mentioned in the book, I also loved you had the graphics are fantastic too. So there's the Trump presidential ring, and I like, weight 6 pounds. Very
right.
Funny stuff.
Yeah, no, it really was fun to do this and sort of get inside his head. He's a fascinating guy.
I'm looking at your picture. You do look a little like Brando now. Okay.
Yeah.
When he was thin. When he was thin and handsome. The streetcar Brando, not the Apocalypse Now Brando.
Well, maybe I'll have to get out of writing comedy books and get into
What
male modeling.
what have you had any response from the Trump camp? Have you sent him a copy of the book?
Well, actually, we've been trying. He's tough to get his attention at this point. But getting sued by him.
That was the next question.
Yeah. Well, that's for a long time. That's been part of our marketing strategy. Like we were hoping that it would happen because he sent threatening letters to the Onion when I was working there. So, he as you know, is involved in, what was the number, like 3,500 lawsuits?
That's what I heard
Did you
this
say
morning.
he sent threatening letters
Oh,
to the Onion?
Oh, yeah.
I guess his lawyer doesn't explain that the Onion is satire.
He probably didn't realize that it's a satiric paper.
No, he's one of those people who believes Onion stories, like, your stupid uncle. But the crazy thing about that is, the story came out a few months ago about how he pretended to be his press guy,
Yes.
John Barron and all that. Looking back, like he wrote those letters to the Onion about 2 years ago. I think it wasn't his lawyer who wrote them. I think Trump himself wrote the letters, because if you read them now, they say things like, "What you've written is disgraceful and disgusting. Mr. Trump demands an immediate apology." Those are like his words, and the sort of fourth grade sentence structure. It did not sound like a legal mind put that together.
Not the kind of top attorneys, the best that he would use. Just as a little aside, I know this should be about you, but of course I always found a way from my shameless self-promotion of myself. But when you talk about people not understanding irony of the Onion, I played the weatherman on one of the Onion News Network's episodes.
Yes, you did.
He was riddled with obscenities, which was the whole joke. And I did a NBC appearance in South Carolina, and the station manager came up to me and thought that I was really a weatherman and from New York, and that's how we spoke there. And he was like, "Y'all can't talk like that on our show, so please don't cuss."
Yeah, no, it endlessly fascinates me how little people think. And I mean, it's partly due perhaps to we're just inundated with information all the time. So unless we really drill into something, we're not really going to think about it that much. So I think but for the grace of God, like any one of us could be that stupid, because we don't really pay that much attention to all the billions of things around us. So it's
that is a scary thing of today's day and age. I have relatives quoting things that they read from the Onion and from a news source, and I try to tell them that's not really a news station. That is a fake blog. That is really scary in today's day and age. And they're not saying bad things about. I love my relatives, but some of them are college educated, very successful in their careers. But they take the information in based on what they heard last. That's a scary thing.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I haven't admitted this
And
to anybody, but the Onion once had, because I use Twitter so much, and so it's like my news feed, and I didn't look close enough, and it said Paul Krugman declares bankruptcy, and I went and called somebody and said, "Yeah, Paul Krugman just declared bankruptcy," and they were like, "You idiot! It's in the Onion." Like, oh, yes, that makes sense now.
Oh, we got another one.
All right. So what's up for the future? What's your next project? What are you going to do after this book makes a few gazillion dollars?
That is a good question. Well, I'll be it depends on what happens with the election. If Trump wins, then I'll be saying hello to you all from my jail cell.
A lot of us, maybe.
I'm guilty by association. Maybe they'll shoot the messenger. All right.
Sure. So we'll sell a lot of books if he wins, but I won't be able to enjoy it because I'll have all my assets seized. But if he doesn't win, I've got a few more comedy books up my sleeve. I'm going to do a parody of a corporate handbook, like from HR. And I've actually got a comic novel in me, which I never thought would happen, but it's there.
Okay.
It's definitely there, and it's gonna come out. So
okay, now can anybody find you on a website before we wrap this up?
I am in the computer. Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Scott Dikkers. I'm my website is scottdikkers.com, and I have a podcast called the Comedy Insider Podcast, where I talk all nerdy about comedy. You'd love it. And I run a program at the Second City in partnership with The Onion, where we teach people how to write comedy on the printed page. So a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, if people want to get in touch.
Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
really, this book is just so hilarious in every way. It's just a wonderful thing, and I urge everybody to buy it. Again, it's Trump's America: The Complete Loser's Guide by Scott Dikkers. Thanks so much for joining us, Scott.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay.